If you're ready to stop forcing and start flowing, subscribe now and learn the power of true surrender. Introduction. We think letting go means losing. We think surrender means failure. We think releasing means we weren't strong enough to hold on. But maybe that's not true. Maybe letting go is a beginning, not an end. Maybe surrender is power, not defeat. Maybe peace isn't found in holding tighter, but in releasing what was never ours to control. You've been carrying so much. The expectations, the pressure, the fear, the responsibility for everyone's happiness. And maybe you're tired. Tired of holding on to what no longer fits. Tired of trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. Tired of pretending you're fine when you're breaking inside. Let me tell you something from the deepest truth. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're ready to be free. Part 1. The cost of holding on. We hold on because we're afraid. Afraid of what will happen if we let go. Afraid of who we'll be without the thing we've attached to, the relationship, the role, the dream, the control. But holding on has a cost. It costs you your peace. It costs you your clarity. It costs you the present moment. And still, you stay. Why? Because control feels safer than uncertainty. Even if it's heavy. Even if it's painful. Even if it's draining the life out of you. At least it's familiar. But here's what no one tells you. Familiar isn't always safe. And safe isn't always true. You might be holding on to something that once made sense, but no longer does. You've outgrown it. It's no longer aligned. It no longer brings life. But your fear says, if I let go, I'll fall apart. And I'm here to tell you, if you let go, you'll fall into yourself. Not apart, into alignment. Let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that's holding me back? Is it a story? A person? A version of yourself that no longer reflects your truth? What are you gripping so tightly that your soul no longer wants to carry? Be honest. Not to punish yourself, but to free yourself. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to stop forcing. It means you trust life more than your fear. Because what's meant for you will never require you to betray yourself to keep it. Part 2. What surrender really means. Surrender isn't giving up. It's showing up, without resistance. It's not about being passive. It's about being present. Surrender says, I no longer need to fight life. I don't need to control the outcome to feel safe. I trust that what's meant for me will come, and what's not will go. It's not about quitting. It's about aligning. It's about recognizing when something has run its course. When something you've been fighting for is no longer worth your peace. You see, the ego wants to control. It needs guarantees. It wants to predict every move. It clings to how things should be. But the soul trusts the mystery. The soul moves in stillness. The soul knows that peace doesn't come from certainty, it comes from surrender. You've been taught to fight, to hustle, to push harder, to prove your worth by how much you can carry. But healing asks you to soften, to listen, to be brave enough to release what's no longer working. To open your hands, your heart, your mind, even if it feels scary. Because on the other side of surrender is peace. Think of all the things you tried to force in your life. The love that wasn't mutual. The job that drained your spirit. The identity you wore to be accepted. The plan that didn't go the way you imagined. What happened when you finally let go? Maybe it hurt. Maybe it felt like death. But then, maybe something better came. Something truer. Something lighter. Surrender doesn't take from you. It makes room. Room for what's real. Room for what's aligned. Room for who you're becoming. Part 3. How to let go in real life. Letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a practice. A moment-by-moment choice. It starts with honesty. Honesty about what's no longer working. Honesty about what feels heavy, forced, or out of alignment. Honesty about what parts of you are clinging, not out of love, but out of fear. Next comes permission. You have to give yourself permission to release. Permission to disappoint others if it means being true to yourself. Permission to not have it all figured out. Permission to walk away from what no longer reflects your growth. Letting go doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're ready. Ready to stop surviving and start living. Here's a truth most people avoid: letting go hurts. Even when it's right. Even when it's necessary. Because part of you is still attached to the hope, to the identity, to the comfort of the known. That's why surrender requires grief. You have to grieve the version of life you thought you'd have. You have to grieve the expectations that didn't manifest. You have to grieve the illusion of control you held onto for so long. But grief isn't a punishment. It's purification. It clears space in your heart, so something new can grow. So how do you let go? Notice the tension. Where in your life are you forcing? Name the fear. What are you afraid will happen if you release control? Return to the body. Breathe. Ground yourself. Let your nervous system know it's safe. Speak truth. Affirm. I release what no longer serves me. I trust life to guide me. Stay open. Let the unknown be a space of potential, not panic. Letting go is less about action, more about trust. And trust, that's the greatest surrender of all. Part 4. Freedom. On the other side, there is life after letting go. There is peace after the release. There is clarity after the confusion. There is alignment after the storm. And it doesn't come because you figured everything out. It comes because you finally stopped resisting. You made room for grace. You gave space for something new. You stopped trying to force what was never meant to stay. That is the reward of surrender: freedom. Freedom from the pressure. Freedom from the proving. Freedom from the fear that said you had to control everything to be okay. Letting go is not the end. It's a return. A return to your truth. A return to your intuition. A return to the you that doesn't need to grip life so tightly. You'll still care. You'll still love. You'll still show up. But you'll do it without attachment. Without fear. Without the need to hold on to what was never yours to begin with. You'll flow. You'll trust. You'll breathe. And in that space, you'll finally feel safe being fully you. If this message helped you release something heavy, subscribe and share it with someone who's struggling to let go.